Mass shootings have made headlines, but a silent partner often keeps the gun in the shooter's hand: credit cards. 2 days before Omar Mateen opened fire at Orlando's Pulse nightclub, he typed "credit card and usual spending" into Google. Over the previous 8 months he had opened 6 new credit card accounts, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express alike. On February 12, just 12 days before the shooting, he used the cards for a $26,532 spree: a Sig Sauer MCX rifle, a Glock 17 pistol, large magazines, thousands of rounds of ammunition, and even a $7,500 ring for his wife that he bought on a jewelry store card. His average monthly spend on his only card before that was a modest $1,500. His web history, which has been unearthed by investigators, read like a threat assessment: searches for credit card reports all 3 bureaus, FBI, and why banks stop your purchases. Yet none of the banks, credit card networks, or payment processors signaled police or any other law enforcement agency about the suspicious spending. The New York Times did an in-depth look at mass shootings since the 2007 Virginia Tech massacre. They found that out of 13 incidents that killed 10 or more people, at least 8 were financed, in large part, through credit cards. Those 8 shootings have claimed 217 lives. The investigations that followed each crash yielded a rich treasure trove of red flag spending, high-volume purchases of firearms and ammunition, large US dollar expenditures on luxury goods, and repetitive high-spend patterns, all evidence that could have pointed to rising danger if law enforcement or immersion in the financial world had been applied. Kevin Sullivan, a former New York police fraud investigator who now runs an anti-money laundering training academy, argues that banks have the sole capacity to catch such red flag patterns. They're the only people who see the entire picture, he says. If they could alert the authorities, we could stop these shootings in advance. The idea is not new. After the February 2018 Parkland shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, where 17 students and staff were killed, the column called for financial firms to help reduce violence by pushing for more responsible practices from gun companies. Some banks have already severed ties with key gun makers. Investors are lobbying manufacturers for greater transparency. But resistance remains fierce. In short, credit cards are providing a fast, unregulated method for funding the weaponry that turns a planner into a killer. Because these purchases can happen nationwide, quickly, and without the scrutiny of banks or governments, a future shooting may arise from a spreadsheet of unauthorized transactions confirmed only by a bank's profit motive, not by a public safety mandate. That is why this column is still turning heads. Sitting at the intersection of finance and gun control, it asks a simple question: should a merchant like a credit card issuer sell a weapon, and if so, how do we stop them from funding a mass shooting? We'll keep listening to this conversation and watching for Follow UPS, because if everything that can go ain't be stopped, it won't. Everything that can be missed, will be. Stay tuned and stay safe, and keep following our coverage right here. We're hoping that you will share this story so that the conversation does not end at the front page but carries on in policy conversation and, eventually, in practice. Thank you for listening. This has been John Davis reporting from the desk.